Hey everybody, it's Christy with Fur Babies and Friends. I am here with my old man Simba, and I want to talk to you about something that's really important for puppies and even for your adult dogs. So everybody knows we all love to pet our dogs, right? It's a pretty natural thing to want to pet your dogs, but especially if you have a puppy, you want to think about when you are interacting with your dogs. How do you move from just like stroking or just petting your puppy to actually working on meaningfully touching your dog in places that is going to set them up for success in locations like the groomer or locations like the vet? If your dog or puppy cannot handle you touching them in certain places, they are not going to be able to handle other people touching them in those locations. So there's kind of 5 main areas that I always tell all of my clients, all my puppy clients, to really focus on when you are moving from just petting your dog to meaningfully touching your dog. So first and most important thing, you want to have a whole bunch of yummy, tasty treats. Remember, you want to create a really positive association with your dog that touching them gets them something good. And so having lots of tasty treats is a good way to get your dog's consent and allow the touching and get them comfortable with being touched in certain areas. So the first and most important place that you want to work on touching your dog are their paws. So first, you just want to start off by slowly just stroking their paws. Notice how I'm still allowing Simba to nibble the treats out of my hands while I'm touching his paws. This is really important. If he can't handle that, right, he's never going to allow you to pick them up. Next part, once you get there, is see if you can reach down and pick up the paw, drop it down. That's important. I'm still kind of distracting him, but while I'm distracting him, he's also allowing me to handle his paws. Then you want to go to the point where you're actually putting your fingers in between all of his toes, on his nails. If your dog or puppy pulls back with jaw, do not continue to fight and hold the paw. Don't fight with them. Remember, physical force isn't training. So if you're fighting with them, they're not going to feel good about it. You want your dog to learn to sit there and be comfortable while you are engaging in all of these touching activities. Treats are a really great way to help distract your dog and get them comfortable with being touched. Now, don't just focus on the front paws. You also want to focus on the back paws because those are also going to need to get done. Simba doesn't much care for his back ones being touched, but again, with the right treats, he will allow me to touch him. The next place that is also the second place location that is really important are your dog's ears. Whether they stand up, whether they flop over, whether they're cropped, it doesn't matter, right? So you really want to work on being able to just touch the outside of their ears first. Get them really comfortable with this. Again, think about it. If your dog gets an ear infection, which there are always, probably going to be times in your life where your dog is going to end up with an ear infection. If your dog's ears have never been touched and now their ears hurt because they have an ear infection, are they going to allow you to put drops in? Are they going to allow you to be handled? No, because it's going to be a really stressful and uncomfortable situation. So be able to flip them over. And then the other thing, you really want to be able to get your finger in the inside of their ear and get them comfortable. My dogs really love this. They get their ear scratches every night before they go to bed, and it's their favorite thing. And then work on doing something like using a Q-tip or a cloth to clean it. It even is a good idea to get in the weekly habit of just running a cleaning cloth through your dog's ears just to make sure that there's no buildup, especially for dogs that have hair. So the third other place you want to move to meaningful touching is your dog's mouth. So you want to be able to just grab their muzzle and not have them resist you. Again, notice how I'm still giving a lot of treats. And from there, you want to move to being able to lift up and check their teeth. Good boy, right? So dental fractures can happen at any age. And if pulp is exposed, that is very painful for your dog. And a lot of times pain is an underlying cause of a lot of bad behavior issues. So get your dog really comfortable with, either holding their mouth, lifting their gums up. Good boy. Make it positive. Reward them, pat them, let them know that that's all you wanted. And you can gradually build duration from there. Again, start slow. Don't try to do too long all at once. Just do it quick and gradually build duration for how long you'd be able to hold, so you can check out their big chompers and make sure that everything is okay before they start to kind of hesitate. So if you notice in the last one, he started to kind of sniff a little bit. He pulled away. That's when I stopped lifting his lips up. I gave him the treats and rewarded him for a job well done. So the fourth place that is also really important to touch your dogs, and especially since I do groom too, is, are the back of their legs. So their butt feathers. Dogs are often a little nervous about their rear end being exposed. So you want to be able to really work on touching back here without them turning around, looking back, especially not flaring any teeth at you. But this is a place that needs to get brushed. It's also a place where groomers and vets will put a thermometer. They might touch the back of their rear end. And so it's good to get them really comfortable with being touched there. And the fifth and the last place that's really important to work on is their tail. Okay? So again, at a vet's office, if they do still using rectal thermometers, they're going to pull their tail up so that they can get the thermometer in their butt. You want your dog to be really comfortable, even if whether it's for grooming or if it's for veterinary care. And then last but not least, you want to be able to touch them all over the place, right? So you want to be able to touch under their belly. You want to be able to maybe pick up a foot, right? So I'm going to go through the other side. He withdrew consent there, right? So come here, Simba. Come here. Right? So I might want to pick up an arm and stretch it out a little bit. Think about things that you could do that maybe a vet would do or a vet would check out. Make sure whatever you do to one side, you do to the other, so they get really comfortable with this. Again, the most important part of meaningful touch is if your dog is not comfortable with you handling them, they are never going to be comfortable with somebody else handling them. So this is always a meaningful touch is always something good to do. Maybe, it's towards the end of the day, your dog's tired, you're tired. Maybe they're snuggling with you on the couch. That is a great time to move from just simply petting your dog to being more intentional and more meaningful on how you're touching and how you're getting their consent and how you're getting their buy-in on some of these touch things, especially with the paws. You don't want to overdo it, but you also want your dog to get really comfortable. Or trimming a dog's nails is a really big part of keeping up their health, as nails that get too long really affect the dog's whole structure all the way up their body. So keeping them nice and short is a good way to prevent any future issues from developing. So paws are always a big one, but those are the major 5 places I always recommend. People should really focus on touching their dogs and touching frequently and positively, so your dog builds a really good association with being touched in those locations. I even say you could even go to the next level if you have a stethoscope. Taking out a stethoscope, in another video, we talk about proper introduction to tools. A lot of times, if your dog goes to the vet, they've never seen a stethoscope before, and the doctor's going to come at them and he's going to place a stethoscope all over them, right? And it's cold, it's metal, it might be scary. So that is a good way that you can help prepare your dog for the vet, with meaningful touch and using tools that they are frequently going to experience. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share. And feel free to look at any of our other videos. But that is all for moving from petting to meaningful touch with my big fat head Simba here. And we hope to see you again in the next video. Have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.